Now, what if I want to read a file in Xamarin? Well, let's create something to read. Over in our Resources folder, right-click, Add, and we would like a new file. Click on Miscellaneous and Empty Text File. Let's call this story.txt. Xamarin will create that, and then let's right-click it, have a build action of content. Okay, so it's there. What I'm going to do is go up to my build menu, not start without debugging, oh dear. Build all. You can also hit Command B to build. And then I'm going to browse over to my debug directory, and I'm actually going to show the package contents. And if I scroll down, we have our story.txt available. Okay, that's great. So content will bundle this into our app's root directory. Let's drop in some text to this story. This course is helpful. And now we have a little bit of text. Then let's head over to our storyboard, drop in another button that will allow us to read the text. Let's call this button, we'll give it a title of Read, and Read Button. Now let's double click it to create our event and drop it in to our view controller. Okay, we have our Read button, and when we click it, we would like to read all of the text inside of story.txt and print it out. Let's have var text is equal to file dot read. And we have a lot of options here. We can read all bytes, we can read all lines, we can read all text, or just read lines. Now, when you read all lines, it gives you back a string array of each line of your story. All text just gives you everything that it's found. And read lines reads lines one by one. So let's have read all text. And we need to pass it a path. Well, this is going to operate on the assumption that the path of our app is the root directory, because if you remember, we're sandboxed. So as far as it knows, nothing else exists outside of this directory. So let's have story.txt, and then let's have console.writeline our text. And let's hit play. And now when I click that read button, it should grab the text from story.txt and print it out to our console. So I've clicked it, and the app output has read me back all of the text inside of that file. Okay, so that works. Now, what if we wanted to read this file line by line? Well, let's put a couple lines in. Let's have new line 2 and line 3, ... Let's save that. And now what we can't see in this file is the fact that the operating system is adding a new line character to the end of each of these lines. So first of all, I just want to run it with read all text and see how that gets translated back to us when we have these new line characters. So read, app output, and it's read all the text. It also reads the new line characters, so it knows where it is and it prints out accordingly. Okay, now if we read all the lines, so let's have file.read all lines, then what we would have is a for each loop. Let's have var line in text. We can then run through each line that gets extracted one by one. So I'll hit play. And if you were building something like a log, for example, this is how you would do it. You'd put a new line character on, so you could actually pull out each line as you went along. So let's hit read, and the app output should have 3 console write lines, whereas before we only had 1 console write line, that new line the characters. This has 3 because we've created an array for each new line. Alright, that is basically how you read a file such as a text file. You can of course read other files. You can get things like read all bytes and get a basic byte stream or an array, and then once it's read a file, it closes the file for you afterwards, so you don't have to manually do that. Just bear that in mind. If you go a bit lower level with file reading, you will have to close the file yourself, so it's accessible by other elements when you fire them off. Okay, that sums up how to read a file in Xamarin.iOS.